All right. So today we'll be looking at one of my favorite topics. In fact, we added this inside Leads Hook on pretty much the very first day. So Conversion Lab for 6th of May. And it's going to be called Offer Walls. I shared a quick video in the Facebook group a few days ago over the weekend on how to build one, but that was more of a quick and easy video. I'll go into a lot more detail now, and also application for those people who may be running normal funnels like the way you guys are, and how this could apply in your case as well, especially for the disqualification funnel. So I wanted to cover that in detail. So I'll review firstly what is an offer wall, and how do you construct one, or what's the point of constructing one. So generally speaking, what you're going to find is an offer wall is presented mainly with affiliate offers, where you want to put 3, 4, 5, 6, almost like the co-reg thing they used to have back in the day, where you would have a whole bunch of offers. You can select one, many, or none of those. Unfortunately, those ones didn't work very well, or they worked really well when the internet was new and people were excited to click offers. And then once people realized they were just annoying offers, no one really clicked anything. And so and one of the reasons why they misfired was because they were just a bunch of stuff that you could click on without any consideration of whether you were interested in it. So you'd get offers on stuff that you were not really relevant. So so then came where people would build like multiple walls, and on those walls that have offers, and then hopefully if you answered a question or two, that would send you to the right one. So when we built Leads Hook in 2016, I came up with the concept of results and results pages, and what those are is snippets of text. Now, at first I thought, like, let's call them offers, but then you could use them to create dynamically generated content, like a PDF report, which is not really an offer. So we had to kind of like use a new language, and so we came up with results, which you put onto results pages, and lack of a better word, that's the one we got stuck with. So in this example, we've got obviously 5 or 6 offers here. I'm going to quickly just open one up. So it was this one's all about the $750 cash app, gift card or something. Obviously, this is just for demo purposes, which is why it's not well designed. But in your case, you'd obviously have a little bit more content and text, and then this button would actually, have a link to it to click to a third-party affiliate offer. And generally speaking, that's what you do. You get affiliate offers and you accumulate them onto this page. And but you're not limited to that. Let's say you wanted to do ClickBank offers. Well, you could just make banners around all the ClickBank stuff, or maybe you've got an account with CJ.com or an Amazon affiliate account, or whatever it be. It doesn't matter where you put or you can mix and match. Let's say you've got a ClickBank offer, you've got, I don't know, maybe some sort of a crypto offer from some affiliate network, and let's say, I don't know, maybe your own offer for that matter, that is secondary, that it's not your primary offer. So you could have any number of things that you can put here. And so what it looks like is, and I'll quickly run through this and show you what one of these things look like. So let's go ahead and so we can. Right. So in this case, want to find out if you have any unclaimed cash, special offer for people near Sydney, and where that's coming from is I must have some sort of there you go. There's my GeoIP city field. And that was essentially showing you how you can do dynamic personalization. Do you want to claim, unclaimed cash or whatever? Yes and no. So I go yes, and it redirects me to here. So I must have added in a demo environment. Yeah, I think I did. There you go. There's a event listener here. I should delete that. All right, and. Okay, so yes and no, and do you qualify for this homemade thing? And obviously we were testing a bunch of stuff. You can add the confetti on the page as well. Do you want to make save money renting? yes and no. So effectively you can either ask the offer right away, like, are you interested in something like this? Or you can say, what's your lifestyle situation like? What's your cost of living crisis like? What's your whatever like? And as someone answers the question, there you present all the offers at the one time on this offer wall. Obviously, this is ugly because it wasn't designed specifically for. It was just more of a demo thing. And I can go ahead and click this button here, and it opens up new pages with your affiliate link already attached to it, and so on and so forth. And the person goes and signs up. Now, this is not really the way to do it. The right way would be to add a little bit of copy of the front saying, listen, hey, based on the circumstances you've indicated to us, these are the 4 or 5, whatever X offers that will give you the ability to maximize, your savings, beat the cost of living thing, whatever the topic area your thing is about. I did really well in this is just a test actually. When we first came up with Lead Hook, I did like skincare and weight loss, and all I would share was a whole bunch of offers you qualify for to get the best skin, and all it would be was just picking up 2 or 3. So rather than because you're spending money on Facebook ads or Google ads or whatever it is, and in order to get the arbitrage working, you align 3, 4 different products as the ultimate solution rather than just trying to sell them one. And I think I have that in here. Let's see if I quickly locate that. It was one for skin, I believe. It was for, let me quickly just, it was at the bottom here. And that one worked. Oh, there you go, Real Beauty, dynamic offers. So that's this one here. Same concept. Let's quickly go through it. Analyze my skin. Yeah, so this is what your Real Beauty age. And here what I was doing was I was aligning multiple offers here based on the answers you selected. So if you picked worry lines, so if you picked that answer there, I would give you that offer. And if you picked that second one, then I would give you this. But obviously, because I've got evaluate all paths here, if you selected all of them, for argument's sake, let's say I selected 4, you'd get offers assigned to all 4 of them. And where those were added in were once again under results. These were offer 1, 2, 3, 4. I even added an introduction and all that sort of stuff. So let's run through this one. I'm not recalling what exactly I did, but I believe so that first question was to align you the offer wall. The second question is to actually align the second back-end offer. So once I've given you, because there's only so much you can buy on the first page. So in order to work out like what the hell am I going to sell you next, I asked about the dark skin. So you can say I've got a few spots and whatever, and this was going to go to essentially the actual CRM system, right? Then you pick a gender, male or female, a bit of profiling, and then I was setting up my second back-end offer, which is do you tend to emotionally eat? True or false? It was true. Then I think it was a ClickBank offer or something that I picked up from somewhere, and that was going to be the second thing I promoted. So what I essentially did was I used my front-end traffic to not only align multiple things that I want you to buy now, but also I had my second and third thing, which I would maybe promote you with the next day, 2, 3, or 5, already aligned. So essentially from one ad spend on Google or Facebook, I'm monetizing it using 4 or 5, 6 or whatever, X many products on a handful of products on day 0, which is the day you see the decision tree and the offer wall, and then a whole bunch of back-end products available as well if you're going to do CPA stuff. So I think there's Jonathan's on the call. Yeah, so he has like a CPA network. So you can knock yourself out with this stuff. Pick every offer you got it in the book and line them up. So that's the second way of sort of doing it. And yes, I'm gonna put my name here. So Nick and my favorite email here, and so on and so forth. And as you can see there, so what you can see here, and I think this really showcases the real power here, is I've got a congratulations, a little bit of copy here to position the rest of the thing. So congratulations, here's your personalized whatever It's important to program yourself a permanent change from inside out. Beauty is more than skin deep, so on and so forth. And there you go. There's my first CPA offer, my second CPA offer, my third CPA offer, and my fourth one. And the reason why I'm seeing all four, and I guess the copy here would talk something along the lines of, you need to grab all four to get the maximum benefit. The other way to do it, and I've done this with one person who had an e-com store. They were doing like this hair care, skincare situation. What we did was we made instead of doing something like this, in their case, we made an API call to a Google Sheet, and the Google Sheet brought back a URL that added all of these products into a shopping cart. So you click one link, and the cart would have all four, whatever. Let's say in this case, if there's 4 products, it'd have all 4 products already built in with your disc coupon code and all that sort of stuff. So what it did was it said, well, based on your situation, because you require these 4 things because of A, B, C, D, as soon as you click the button to go, yep, I'm interested in buying, or whatever the call to action was, it would go and add all 4 products into the shopping cart. And that was a really nice way of increasing your average order value in a non-creepy way, and trying to do order bumps and all that other, and upsells and downsells and cross-sells. There's no need for, well, I mean, you could still do that, but the point was that if you just position why you want them to buy 4 products up front, then that's definitely another test that one could run against your sort of your upsell, downsell type things that most people are doing these days. So that also, in that example, where it was I only ever built it for like a handful of people, because no one was ever interested in investing in the time to do it, and so it never really took off. I did a lot of this for my own stuff, but I never really found too many people interested in this. So I'm kind of interested to see that while I was doing it in 2015, 2016, in the early versions of LeadsHook, I finally got the question how to do it in 2024. So better late than never. It would be what I have to say on that. So this is the second way of doing it. Now, the other way that I think for any of you who are running, let's say if you're doing insurance or solar or whatever, and you're like, well, what? And that's your primary kind of offer. As soon as they say no, you could build yourself a disqualification pathway where you could just go and get a bunch of generic stuff, things like debt refinancing, mortgage payments, car payments, health insurance, life insurance, any of the generic stuff, because the chance of you finding someone who needs help with that is super high, rather than getting some ultra niche stuff out of ClickBank, which may or may not apply here. Let's say someone's got, fatty liver or something. I mean, the fact that I came through a life insurance funnel or a solar funnel, from there to go and find someone who's got liver problems, it's a bit of a stretch. Like the odds of that happening is quite low, but the odds of them, struggling with mortgage payments, or them, wanting to eliminate their power bills, or them eliminate, any of those sort of big, broad, generic categories, those fit quite well. So the goal here would be to go and pick a bunch of offers that align to something broad, so that you get a very high hit rate. And you just add one question like this, and your question would be just one of these here, which is, and then, are you struggling with mortgage payments or something? So let's say, are you struggling, or do you need help with, or something along those lines? Are you, struggling with, paying your credit card or something? I think those are going to be a credit card one, for some sort of debt consolidation thing, right? A multiple choice, and I would just go yes and no, like so, and no, like that. Make sure you click this little option right here, show all answers in the canvas, save and close. And yes, I would then show them the offer. No, I would go and ask another question. So you would sort of put that in a disqualification pathway, like this. So the no people would then get the next question, which is, are you whatever, struggling with weight loss problems or whatever it is. And that way you can go yes and no. And you can daisy chain this till, for multiple, 6, 7, 8 levels deep. I remember there's one funnel that someone had built inside LeadsHook. They were doing some sort of a pharma product, some sort of a pharma offer in the US. get drugs for 20% off or something. And if you didn't qualify for the range of drugs that they were able to get discounts on, they would just move to pretty much what CPA offer paid the highest was the first one, and then what paid second was the second one, and they had like daisy chained like 15 steps deep. I think that the last one was like sweepstakes and like really like that $1 zip submit stuff. And some days I remember talking to them. I said, this is a really interesting way of doing it. And they were telling me some days their disqualification funnel made more money than the other one, than the real one. And obviously it would depend on day to day. But there was a fantastic way of monetizing your unqualified traffic, or monetizing your disqualified traffic is probably a better way to put it. So hope this gives everyone a little bit of now obviously this doesn't mean you have to do it right away in the funnel like this itself. Let's say you've already got a big list. So let's say someone like Josh who's generating hundreds of thousands of solar leads, and you're like, well, they're all sitting around. They're obviously we probably sold actual solar panels to only 10% of the actual leads that were ever generated. The other 90%, nothing ever happened. Well, you could actually come up with a way to email them, provided the permission and all that other stuff was sorted out with the client you sold it to. You could actually take a second bite of the cherry. Rather than just saying, hey, are you still interested in that primary offer? You could go ahead and do that, and you can use the AI bot thing that people are using these days. But let's say despite that, you still have a whole bunch of people that didn't qualify. Or you can grab the whole list. Well, you can still send them to maybe a cost of living thing, or anything quite generic like that, and drive them through a funnel just like this, and get them to go yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, and sort of like explain their life situation. Take all the data, put it against the lead record you already have, and now you've got yourself a database of leads about whom you know so much more. You know about the debt needs, you know about the credit card, you know about life insurance, you know about the car payments, you know about all the other stuff. And what that can really allow you to do then is to really have a back-end sequence that allows you to monetize the data now, because now you know exactly what they are most likely to resonate with, rather than just hitting people with needlessly with offers that they may or may not be qualified for. So anyway, that's kind of like the quick 20-minute spiel on the whole concept. I'll open it up to any questions that you guys might have. And I think there's Eric on the line here. Hey, Eric, how's it going, man? Good to see you.
Doing well. How are you?
Good. How was the conference?
Conferences were good, busy.
LeadsCon, right? You into LeadsCon?
Yeah, we were at LeadsCon, talking debt, solar, windows, that type of stuff. So it's interesting that you kind of bring this up when it comes to the whole kind of monetizing the users, because it's something that we're kind of we're very interested in trying to figure out how to better monetize our users. One, I got a couple things. And we'll kind of stick with this, like decline or whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
And we could stick with let's say debt as an example.
Yep.
So if a consumer doesn't meet, let's say a threshold of a debt amount.
Yep.
The consumer then clicks and we take them down another funnel. Is that basically what
that's exactly right. So in your case, it's even better because what you could do is and so a little bit more. It's not advanced, but it just kind of explain the dynamic nature of it. You could just have an API node like this that's just pulling from a Google sheet of what today's latest offers are. So you don't necessarily have to go and rebuild this thing over and over again. You use an API node to bring back your links and just replace the links dynamically on the offers. And that would be probably one of the ways to do it at scale, in a fairly automated fashion. So what would happen here is every week, your affiliate manager, whoever manages the stuff, can just go in and pick up the latest offers that are either doing really well or something new that's come down the pipeline, and just go and update that in the Google sheet. And then what LeadsHook would do in this case would just go and read that Google sheet every time a lead comes through. And the minute you change that stuff on a Google sheet, it gets a fresh set of offers to promote. So you don't ever have to necessarily come inside LeadsHook and start needlessly hacking things. You could just have that particular Google Sheet being updated. So now you can have a VA sitting, wherever your VA sit, to who can go and just update, the URL and image, maybe some images, things of that sort, and then you can pull things with an API. And so now you've got yourself a fairly automated, but not just automated, but fairly dynamic, because as you know, like offers, come and go. So as you update those things, the leads hook part does not necessarily have to be touched too much. So it's not like you're gonna have to come here every week and change that. Of course, I would recommend kind of like you do that as your version 1, so you get a feel for how the whole thing would work, and then look to automate it in some way. We're using this API node here. So I'm going to explain what this API node is about. Someone reached out on the weekend saying, "Hey, you know what? I'm getting a lot of repeat leads. How do I make sure that my repeat leads don't fill out my form again?"
Totally.
So that's what the question was. And I was like, oh, and I just did a video on offer walls, so I put that in here. So essentially, what you're doing here is I'll quickly run through that as a bit of an extra bonus for today. Is you make an API call into Google Sheet, and what I did was I actually shared even the actual the prompt that I did. So there's the prompt. I found there was some issues there. So anyway, you can see me fixing things up, and at the end you can see that that's actually the Google Sheet script. And so all I did was, in this case, is I went to here. You go to where do you go? You go to extensions, scripts. You just copy and paste the script right here, which is that right there is exactly this. I just press that button there. And what it does, it actually looks at it. This reads all of these lines to see if it can find a match. And when it finds a match, it returns back basically that, yeah, I found a match, and this particular lead has actually been down my funnel, is already in your database. So then what you can do, now you can use an Airtable for this. I just use a Google Sheet because of convenience, but you can use any other third-party database that you want to. So what's happening here is in this case is you make an API call. It brings back a result to say yes, this lead is in your DB or in your database. And then what you can do is then you can say, yeah, my database is yes, as in that's the condition that yes, it is a repeat lead. If it's a repeat lead, then you want to disqualify them. So you don't want to send that person back into either your client or whatever, because it's obviously going to get rejected as a dupe. So that way, you avoid that dupe issue. And now you can send them down a different pathway. Or the other thing you could do is, let's say it's still a good lead, but it just happens to be a dupe for the purposes of this one client. You could then just go and sell them to client B, C, D, or E, and don't sell them to client A because it's already sitting inside there. Which that I did not add in this dummy example here. But theoretically, what you could do is you could put all of your leads into the one sheet, and you could then have another column here saying, client, client ID or something, or whatever it is, and you can actually have the client ID of who you sold it to. So let's say you sold it to client ID 120. Then what happens? It can bring back 120. So then what you can do is you can actually build a pathway here to say that, well, you know what, don't send this to 120. I want to make an API call or whatever, or distribute to any other client but 120, because 120 has already got this, and they're going to be rejecting it as a dupe. But I can obviously go sell it to somebody else. So there's obviously a few strategies available as to what you can do if you do find a duplicate. The main question around here was, I don't want them to fill the form out again, but I'm like, well, I don't know too many people that only have one, unless you're doing it for your own business, obviously. That would be a single client situation. But generally speaking, anyone who's doing lead gen at scale would have one or more clients. You can just tag this, so when you pass it to your lead distribution system, you can say, hey, just make sure that this lead does not get ping posted or whatever to client ID 120 or something. So that could be another way around it. So I suppose our goal here, as far as the DT part is concerned, or the lead hook part is concerned, is to ensure that there's enough data available for you to now know what to do with it. And so even if you do pass it to a third-party system, say it'd be Leadspedia or Cake or Bleedbyte or whatever you're using for your distribution, you can actually even cater for that scenario inside that using the rules and stuff you can set up in those platforms, so that this you don't needlessly get a dupe, even if it is a dupe. So you catch the the dupe part in the funnel itself, rather than getting it rejected and go like, oh crap, what do I do now? And then you try and work something out inside the distribution platform, which that's another place to do it. But this is a much more real live situation. And you can either take them in a different path and sell them a whole bunch of different offers if you wanted to, and or distribute them to somebody else so that it doesn't get rejected.
And is anybody out there, let's say if it's a solar lead or whatever, home services type of lead?
Yep.
We saw something recently where it looked like a consumer was going, let's say for, I don't know, solar site A, right?
Yep.
And then from there, after they hit submit, or are you also interested in, finding out more about roofing or windows?
Yeah.
And then it kind of asked a few more questions, right? And then it was like a couple quick questions, and it was all super seamless. And then there was another TCPA, language,
Right.
right? That was here.
Here's what they're doing. We've got a couple of people inside Leads. I don't know if it's a Leads funnel or not, but we've got someone inside Leads who is doing stuff like that. And so what they essentially do is they'll ask you a question, or a bunch of questions, could be around there, which is sort of, I guess, equivalent of this one here. I'm going to discard this, like that one. And if you say yes, there's actually a webhook that goes to the Leadspedia or wherever lead distribution platform. It was, but once again, the webhook is not visible, so it's already sent. And then you ask them the second question and saying, hey, are you interested in blah blah blah? You say yes, boom, it sends another webhook, because you grabbed all the data about them previously anyway. Now it's a matter of just saying, are these the 10, 15 things you're interested in? And they keep writing webhooks behind the scenes, constantly distributing them either specifically to a client that matches the criteria, and or it goes into a lead distribution platform where it's going to go through a ping tree of some sort to send the lead out. So yeah, absolutely you can. And all they would be a series of questions with a webhook, which is kind of like this one here, that node there. And so your question, webhooking behind the scenes, next question. So the client never, as in the lead, never really realizes what they're doing. Or if in their case you go yes, and you need to present with them a TCPA knowledge, fine, you can go ahead and do that as well. And so that would be one of two ways. If it's a specific client that you already know, you can just present the language right away. But if it's a client that you're going to bring from a lead distribution platform, because you need to go through ping, like a ping post situation or a ping tree, then what you can do is you can send it to whatever your distribution platform is. It'll bring back the client name, and you can put them as a custom field on the TCPA language. So you'll be receiving a call from ABC, whatever, XYZ company. And you can do that as well. In fact, Josh is doing a bit of that with his funnels in the solo space. There's quite a few other people inside Leads that are doing something very similar. Because obviously, as the TCPA compliance, all the stuff is getting a little bit tighter and tighter and tighter. You can't just say, hey, me and my partners will contact you. That's kind of like, it's a bit of a no-no. So what you can do then is, in that case, is bring the information back from your lead distribution platform of who actually bought the lead. So the TCPA form that you present has got a custom field for who that client is. So you're fully compliant, actually.
Hold on 2 seconds there, Nick. Didn't mean to cut you off, but I'm like, so we've got a kind of a similar scenario, and I'll go back to the debt. So we've got a debt buyer. Debt buyer wants to buy, a lead that's $15,000 or more in debt, right? But they want us to make sure that at the end of the thank you page, if that lead is sold to this specific buyer, right?
Yep.
Then we present them with their language and maybe a graphic or whatever. It says, hey, this lead is being sold to debt company A. It's not going to Kangaroo Debt, right? It's going to somebody else. I just want that's obviously doable. And it's the same thing when it comes to solar, windows, roofs.
Yeah.
And then last question I had for you. I don't want to get too down the weeds here, but I don't know. Josh sounds like he's been doing solar, but if you're doing that, where you're getting that lead, that one buyer that's going through the funnel, and then they showed interest in solar, obviously, right? Yeah. Then they're maybe presented with windows or a roofing product or whatever it may be. Has anybody found or heard that does it diminish the lead quality at all as far as contact rates and
No,
appointment set rates?
no, it does not. It does not. You do have
Interesting.
to, you do need a warming up process because they've obviously allowed you to go 5 or 10 products. Now, if it's one client, because I know that in fact, I'm working with someone they're pretty big. They're a company that does a bunch of stuff. So they do solar,
Totally.
and they do roof, and they do something else. But it's as in the end client, as in the service provider, I should say, no, not the lead.
I get it.
So in that case, it actually works really well because when the guy jumps on the call, he also realizes, and in fact, what they're doing is they're actually taking those leads and giving them to the best salespeople to ensure that because obviously they're worth the most. And so now when the person jumps on the call, he goes, "Hey, you know what? Thanks for jumping blah, blah, blah. I know you were interested in A, B, C, D. Let's quickly go through some final details and whatever." And then so he's obviously, or the person is simultaneously, doing, saying, "We're going to come send someone over, who's going to do your roof quote, your solar quote, your whatever quote." And it's sort of simultaneously working on all three. And as a result, they can also then, talk about presenting a better offer because obviously if you're going to buy all three, then, we cut you a better deal. And so from that perspective, it absolutely makes sense. But you would need a client who's positioned that way. I'm not 100% sure if it's going to work quite as well if you gotten the yes about the problem, but now you're selling them to three separate people, because then all three are calling saying, "Hey, I'm here for the
Oh,
roof."
no. It would have to be an exclusive solar lead, and then it would have to be an exclusive Windows lead.
It can get confusing sometimes. Like if you're doing solar and then roofing,
Yeah,
you just know how consumers are. They can, I just had someone call me, but they forget about what they were being called about.
correct. Yeah, you're right. So if one person doing all three, sweet, because that person's going to educate them, isn't there to do it. Otherwise, it's almost, it's like the non-exclusive leads, right? When hey, we're going to get guys, 5 people to send you a quote. I mean, those ones are the worst because the guy who's on the call first, he gets pretty much gets the sale, or at least majority gets the sale, and the other 4 annoy the shit out of the other out of the guy, and it even ruins it for the first one. It's like, "Oh, all you dickheads are calling at the same time. I'm not interested anymore. Piss off."
The other thing it works is if you disqualified them from one funnel, but they can be qualified for another product. So they might be disqualified for solar, they're a renter, but you can qualify them for
correct. Correct. Yeah.
Got it. Very cool.
Maybe we should connect with Josh.
Sorry?
Hey, Josh, are you driving traffic internally for your own funnel? I mean, how are you doing it?
We're driving through paid traffic.
For US, right?
Through paid traffic?
Josh is asking if it's US.
Australian traffic.
Aussie.
Yeah.
Aussie.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, we're only in the US. We're only in the US market, but I don't know.
Yeah. Now listen, this stuff even works really well at the US because obviously you got a much deeper market there, and so it's really easy to find, alternate offers to promote. The Aussie market, literally, unless you can find yourself a client yourself, it gets a bit difficult to find yourself to liquidating with. I mean, you might go to affiliate. It's almost like if they're not buying solar, oh shit, it's going to be an Amazon book or something. There's not much. No, yeah. No, the market depth is not here. That's not to say that. Yeah, it's. Let's put it this way: it's not that easily identifiable. You got to jump on the call and build relations with everyone. Unlike in the US, where, hey, listen, I'm doing solar, but if solar's not going to work, let me just go to a CPA network, and I know that they can provide me with, everything from crypto to, I don't know, penal extensions or something, or whatever it is, literally, if you go to Offer Vault, I mean, look at the amount of stuff they got sitting there. It's like thousands and thousands of offers. Yeah, we don't quite have that depth in Australia. So yeah, you're a little bit stuck.
Here's what we're finding interesting, guys, right? And maybe you guys can give us some insight. Obviously, it's a US market. That's kind of our focus. We're obviously trying to figure out ways in which we primarily use affiliates, to be honest with you, to push traffic. We're looking at trying to push some internal media, but what we find challenging when it comes to solar, Windows, some of these other verticals, a lot of duplicate leads, like you were discussing.
Outside of targeted list, zip list.
Say that again, Jonathan.
Are we getting leads? I mean, so leads are duplicate leads that are outside of our geo targeting as well.
So yeah, so we're getting out of geo targeting because we're testing some internal media, right? And or even if affiliate runs, and we're trying to, obviously, generate high RPCs for our affiliates, and if we're doing some internal testing as well. But as Jonathan said, duplicates or out of state, right, or out of zip, whatever it may be. Let's just say it's out of zip. That'll be a little bit better. But we're trying to figure out how to better monetize these consumers. So we're looking at, thank you page monetizations. We're looking at, leave behinds. We're looking at a whole bunch of different stuff, but it sounds like in reality, because like I said, we came across a solar funnel that had, and I don't know, like I said, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but we saw that they had an exit, or not an exit, but it's like, oh, thank you so much. By the way, are you also interested in roofing? Blah, 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 or whatever it was. They sent them down another funnel, couple quick questions, and then it was immediate TCPA. Hey, are you interested? Yes. Then they hit yes. And then from there was a thank you page with like 3 or 4 different offers listed that they can click out to.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of 3, 4 offers, clicking them out, because if you've already got them to say yes, then you might as well just get all the details and just sell the lead at that point.
What they were doing, it was like maybe it was like a debt offer, or something like a gaming offer, something just totally different than home services, as an example. I don't know.
Yeah. So I think more important than the offer itself is how do you position it. So an example is let's say if you did want to if you just said, hey, do you want to check your life insurance? Most probably you're going to get like a 50-50 answer. But if you say, hey, listen, you know what, most Americans are overpaying on their life insurance. And if you have not reevaluated the premiums you're paying, or the deduct, or whatever, the prices you're paying in the last 6 months, then now is a good time to review. Are you interested? All of a sudden, you get a much higher proportion of yes, because you positioned it much better. And that's the bit that's missing in a lot of these funnels. They just, pick something from an affiliate network and say, do you want more insurance or something? And I think you could probably get a lot more traction, or a lot more yes, if you just positioned it a bit better. Position it based on someone's life situation, like who isn't struggling with cost of living type stuff, right? It's in the media all day long, and so since that's the conversation that's happening in the media, it already is very top of mind. So leverage that. If I could,
I know, man. That's the thing. We're just like, we've got a lot of clients on our side, right? That's kind of what we've been able to do, and so that's why we're trying to figure out some of these funnels. Can we better monetize it? Because when it comes to the media side of things, right, it's, if we're going to pay on a CPL or a rev share to try to make it work, that's kind of where we're trying to lean to leads hook, to see if we can figure out how to increase that revenue per user, basically.
So in the media buying side, you can also obviously, the data that's coming through, you can use that to do audiences, like remarketing, like targeting type options available with the answers that people are giving, all that sort of stuff. That's one option. The other one is obviously, if you're looking at outside of state stuff, then yes, absolutely, that is a big problem for the entire industry, where you're going to get outside the industry stuff. And a few ways to counter that. Now, it's not a perfect solution, but if you can half it, that's 50% saved, right?
Totally.
And is to effectively put all the other states as exclusions. So, for example, there was a country one that I was running of a guy out in New Zealand, and he's like, how can I reduce my CPLs? And I said, let's go have a look at your data. So we pulled all the leads out, and we have the GeoIP stuff, and we could see that 30% of the leads were coming from outside of New Zealand. And I said, that is an awful amount of outside of country stuff. So when I look at his targeting inside Facebook ads, it was a Facebook campaign. He just had like target New Zealand, but when you look at exclusions, it was blank. So I said, why don't you go and put every other country except for New Zealand in that group? And it immediately slashed it down by about 50% or so. So now you got 10 to 15% of ad spend wasted outside the country instead of 30% wasted outside the country. So like a lot of these things, they're not perfect solutions. And then obviously with all the answers and stuff, by building audiences and all that stuff, that's another layer. There's also fraud traffic and stuff. That's another layer. So by the time you work through 3 or 4 of these layers, while you never bring it to zero, rather than, blowing 30-40% of your funnel. In fact, I'm actually presenting at an event here.
You want to tackle one by one, Nick? Said duplicate leads.
Sorry, duplicate leads, what?
Tackling each of his issues one by one. He said duplicate leads was the first issue.
Correct. So dupes the first one. Let's see if I can quickly pick up the diagram here of what I saw in this particular one. Okay, so here you go. I'm just going to share my screen for a sec here.
Before the call, Nick, I will have a question on leads book.
Okay, yeah. So outside the area spend 30% in this New Zealand funnel. So the question was, how do you eliminate this, right? And so there are targeting options available to do that. Most people don't even look at this. In fact, I've never seen anyone, and I said, cool, have you looked at data, looked at outside of country, or outside of state, or outside of whatever, your target area traffic? And they're like, oh, how do you do that? And I'll just pull the data out, pull a little pivot table and see who you're targeting versus not. We even went one step further. We looked at inside the country to see which regions of the country were giving conversions, and we realized that the southern part of whatever it was, some part of the country was chewing up 40% of the traffic but 0 conversions. And he couldn't work out what was going on. I said, listen, first things first, let's just remove that from the targeting right now. So all of a sudden, you've got yourself an extremely profitable campaign. I said, now let's go build a campaign with just that targeting. So now we're looking at the negative now. So we're looking at the audiences that don't work. And you say, well, can we run a different offer to them? Maybe, maybe the languages should be different. Maybe the socioeconomic makeup of that part of the country is different. So you're going to have to change the language a little bit, whatever. So then we went down that rabbit hole. So now you have got 2 campaigns that both are profitable, but they're profitable for different reasons because you're able to finally identify which part is not working. And so this is really how you get a lot of this paid media type stuff working at scale, by truly understanding inside the data, what's actually working or not. While most people, what they're doing is it's like, yep, let's just blast everything. I'm going to have a conversion pixel and I'm going to tell Facebook and Google just to optimize for that. Yes, that's true. That does work to some extent. But what if you looked at the data and you realize that these were all male, or these were all female, or these were all from a certain region, or these were all whatever? All of a sudden, you've just identified a bunch of people that should not receive your ads because they're clearly telling you they don't buy from you. So, but that doesn't mean they're bad leads or bad traffic. It just means that whatever language you're using, whatever offer you got, whatever price you've got, whatever terms you've got, or whatever this thing is, they just don't like it. And so let's come up with other ideas to go and work on with those people, while the ones who are working immediately become super profitable because you've just removed 30-40% or whatever percentage of your funnel that is not connecting. So the existing campaign literally just starts printing money. And then what you can do is you can optimize, how do I take profit now and redo those audiences that are not making us money. Hope that kind of makes sense.
Fair enough. Yep, totally does.
Yeah, cool.
Clarified on platform, and then you can create custom audience through LeadsHook to then send that out. So don't send us these people as well.
Yeah. Right, Jonathan, you had a question.
Yes. So we're trying to do a page for auto insurance.
Yep.
in the quiz, we're asking like, the make, the year, and all the trim and all the stuff. So
Yep.
all this data, we bought it from an API.
Yeah,
It's
okay,
like,
yeah, that's
it's like a database, but the question we have is how do you show the drop-down menu or whatever, how you want to show it on the quiz from this API?
okay, right. That API part, okay, so to answer the API question, the way to do it would be to actually use this right here. It's called the custom page, and it's actually effectively allows you to code whatever you want. So you can, so you take the thing, you make the API call, brings up the data, presents it in whatever format you want. So that gives you total flexibility of what to do there. That's one option, and that is a reasonably good option. We got quite a few people in the UK that use this because they've got weird postcodes and different types of data coming through from APIs. That's the best way to deal with it, because obviously, the data that's coming back is largely unstructured. As in, it's not always going to give you 3 options, right? It may give you 50 options. So how do you make sure that you accommodate all 50 in the dropdown? While some dropdowns may be only 3 options, some don't. Like, for example, let's say if I pick Bentley as a car, it'll only give you like, I don't know, 15 models there or whatever. But if I pick something like a Toyota, it'll be like 500 models or whatever, so not 500, but you get the idea. Many more models to pick from. So because of the unstructured nature, in that the responses themselves are variable in size, this is the best way to deal with it, because this way so it doesn't need a JavaScript developer. So what you're doing there is you're building out just the look and feel here, but then you send the data back into LeadSook using DT set field. So that way they don't have to worry about how do I save the data when someone makes a selection. If someone selects it, you send the data straight into LeadSook using DT set field. So now, and then after they've made the selections, and then all the rest of the other stuff like income and all the other stuff, you can use your normal LeadSook node itself. So that's what this was designed for. So for example, someone asked a question around how do it's like a land area one where he wants to put, he wants to mark 3 spots or 4 spots on a map, and it to calculate the dimensions of the land area, so they can calculate the land value or whatever that they want to do with it. And it's a Google Maps API. Right now, will we ever add that as a product? Probably no, because the nuances, you only want it for Germany, somebody wants it for the US. It requires still a little bit of coding. So it would never really be a very good feature, because it would still need a lot of adjusting. So the best way to use that is actually to come here and just add in your code. It needs a JavaScript developer basically to add a little bit of stuff here to make it work. That's one option available to you. Now, the second option is, and so what its purpose is effectively you can bring any third-party the non-obvious stuff, like the stuff that you don't use very frequently. It's going to be hard to find features around that. So we built this specifically for that, right? So you can bring any third-party thing in, add it in here, that works. The other option is that we do have our custom fields. There is a drop-down custom field here that actually has got hierarchy. So we have hierarchical, and a lot of the car guys use this. So if I pick my drop-down here, there you go. So you can have a parent here. So there you go. There's I'm going to my car make and model here. So you can, I'm not sure, but whatever let's say your first one's going to be, your first one's going to be make. And so is it a parent? Yes, it is. Then I can actually go ahead and add a child in, and so on and so forth. There's an article around how to set it up. So what you would do is you would set up 3 or 4 drop downs, and you make one the parent and then the child. So as you select the car make Toyota, it'll only give you Toyota models, and then you pick the year and so on and so forth. So you can actually do that here as well. That's the reason why we built this bulk upload feature, so you can put all of your car brands in one here, and your year and all that sort of stuff. There's a specific way in which you import those in, especially where you have your parent-child thing. But that's another option available. In this case, there's no API calls to be made. We host all the data for you. And you just basically just run the funnel using the information here. Maybe the reason why I prefer this option is obviously there's no third-party component added here. There's no extra testing to be done with the coding stuff. There's also obviously APIs break as well from time to time, latency, all that other stuff. So you bypass all those problems, and that's what I would use this for. So a lot of the car guys do use this. So if that's an option available, whether you want to go down this road or you want to go down the API road, yes, you can do both. And they are the two main ways to achieve, especially in the car funnel.
But you will use that second method where you import the whole database into LeadsHook.
Basically, yeah, you could use, yeah, absolutely. So
that's
you
what
can,
you would do.
Yeah, that's what I would do, purely because it's now, yeah, it's just easier. You know, whenever you're dealing with third-party stuff, especially for things like car make and model, there's only a finite number of answers, right? It's not like it's like you're getting market value for a property where it's in real time. You're going to need a new number. But car makes and models, you know what? Beyond the next year's release with new makes and models, really all historical data never changes. There's only so many Toyota models available in 1986, right? So,
Yeah.
so for that reason, for your car stuff, this makes the drop down thing that we've got inside LeadsHook makes a lot more sense because of the fact that you've got only a finite number of historical records that themselves don't change. If these records were always changing, then I'd say the API option is obviously going to be the only option because you know the value is not static. But car makes and models, extremely static. You know exactly like no matter what API you use, 1986 there's only going to be so many car makes and models, and really that's all there is to it. There's no other way around that. The other thing that you can complicate with API sometimes is they go down to like the submodels. So you know I'll be like Toyota Corolla, it'll be like, you know, CXI and GXI and GXE and all that. And sometimes that ends up muddling from a debt finance perspective. That's not needed. If you're looking at a car market value, then obviously that might be a consideration. And whether that's needed in the lead gen funnel, probably not. So so using the dropdown, you have a lot of control as to how detailed you want to present that option. Sometimes with APIs, you are somewhat limited because it'll actually give you too much to select from, and as you know, when you present too much to select from, no one selects anything. So for that reason, just from a pure practical standpoint, I think the drop-down option that we have available will work perfectly for you. Of course, you can split test it against the coded option at some point later. But you know, why needlessly invest all this time, energy, and waste of time trying to build out API integrations when you can just copy and paste the Google Sheets in here? You will need a Google Sheet. That's probably the best way to do it, and then import that in here. I'll see if I can quickly pull up the article that is available. And we've got quite a few people inside LeadsHook that use this option. So I do know that it works because of that. There you go, conditional drop downs. And that's where they are. So there you go. There's a car, Toyota Corolla, and then the year. So you can actually do that.
Hey, Nick, you have others doing auto right now?
Yeah, absolutely. Quite a few people actually doing auto. Yeah.
I know you don't want to take responsibility for it, but do you introduce people like make an introduction?
Do I make an introduction? I can reach out to them. If they say yes, they're interested, then I can do an intro. So yeah, so I'll outreach tomorrow and see how they feel. Sometimes people are a little bit cagey about what they do, so they may or may not be interested. So, but I will reach out, okay? And I always do. No, not everybody says yes, but I'll talk you guys up. I'll say, hey, they own a CPA network. Maybe you can get some offers from them.
Sure.
Or they might be like,
even on
they'll be like, they're CPA network, they might steal my shit. so I don't know which way to go. So anyway, I'll make sure they're good people. I'll let them know, and yeah, if he says yes, I'll definitely do the intro.
Sounds good. Okay, we'll send you a message.
Done.
We will look into some traffic. Cool.
All right.
Hey, Nick, last question for me.
Yeah.
I was talking to one of our vendors the other day, and they were talking about how they can send, if they were sending us leads as a decline, and then like, hey, by the way, if you need us to pre-pop, we can pre-pop. So that means like, I don't know, whatever offer we had on our back end, right? Yep. They can pre-pop it from, obviously they're collecting the data, so they can pre-pop our form if we give them, pre-pop instructions. Does LeadsHook have that capability?
Absolutely, dude. You can pre-pop in two ways. Either a URL redirect if it comes from an email, SMS, or something. Then you obviously you put the variables in the URL, and LeadZook will grab them and pre-populate the forms automatically. In fact, you don't even have to add the form in if you don't want to, because that saves straight in the database. So let's say, for example, if you send me traffic with your phone number, name, and email, I don't have to ask you again. I mean, I can present it to you saying, hey, is this correct? And you can just say yes or no. But if you don't want to ask that question, you can just make them go, are you a homeowner? Are you this? Are you that? Are you this? Thank you so much. And there would be basically a webhook that sends the information back out. So they never actually they never even have to fill the form in.
Interesting. And then we could post that to
whoever you want.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's one way, the URL way. The second one is if your client's like, hey, listen, I've got everything sitting in my database. Why don't you webhook into my system and just pull it out based on whatever conditions that you may. And so that's the other way of doing it. So you can actually, and that would be using the API node. You would make an API call into their data source, whatever that is, and it would bring back their details. So the other way would be that, listen, I'm going to send you a lead ID. Can you pull them in real time? And you can yeah, absolutely, it's done. So the guy sends you a lead ID or some sort of unique identifier, and that you have in your URL. Well, LeadZook will grab that immediately when it sees itself in the URL, and it can immediately make an API call, bring back all the other details about the person, name, email, phone number, age, name of wife, blood sample, whatever you've got sitting there. It'll bring everything back. You basically save that into the LeadZook custom fields, ask them whatever questions you want, and now that data sitting inside LeadZook, you can actually send that post back out to wherever you want. So theoretically, or not theoretically, practically, the leads themselves don't have to ever see a single form. All they're doing is saying yes or no or whatever, something along those lines, but never really, never seeing, name, email, phone number, that kind of a field. That's not needed. The question there would be is if this is going to a third party that is unrelated to the first party, then you may need to present some sort of permissioning or whatever, just from a compliance standpoint. So you don't end up with in a black hat type category or gray hat at least. But that's not a technical issue. It's more just a legal compliance thing. If you should wish to do that, of course, if it's going back to the same person that is giving you the lead to start with, then effectively you're just enriching the lead for them. In this case, you don't have to. So let's say someone has, listen, I've got this whole database. Can you just promote other stuff on behalf, and we'll just do 50-50 split? Let's say that's the deal. If that's the case, then yeah, there's no real need to get, there's no TCPA issue because they already have the record there. It's only when you're going to take that person's lead and now you're going to send it to client X, that's where it gets a little bit, it's a question mark. I'm not a lawyer, nor do I play one on the internet. So, just make sure you make sure that part is clear. But based on the way the rules and regulations are going and the way that FTC is pretty, comes with a heavy hand these days, probably best to be on the safe side. Unless you're operating out of a Russian company or something, then you might get away with it. But yeah, I don't recommend playing games with that sort of stuff. Stay above board. It keeps your life easy, man.
I would agree. Does anybody else have any questions? Because I had one last one.
I'll see if Jay's got anything. Let me see. He hasn't asked anything today. Jay, do you have a question?
No, I'm good, guys.
No? Okay.
Thank you. Cheers.
All right. Okay, awesome. All right. Now, over to you.
Click to call, right? Click to call, funnels. How do we, we've been testing, Jonathan, we got one funnel set up right now, correct?
No, we got a couple of them. Okay,
so we have a couple, but I still think we're not totally understanding how they're not performing, or we're sending some traffic, we're getting some clicks, but we're not getting any inbound calls. So we're like, hey, what's going on? It's very, very, very low volume in the initial testing, but we're like, okay, where do we see the drop off, or how do we look at, where things could maybe be affecting. If the consumer's clicking, why aren't they calling in? It's like this is for ACAs.
Right. Okay. All right. Okay. Cool. Okay. I know that market really well. Yeah, so firstly, what I would do is just click that little button there, and that'll give you where they're falling off. That would be the first thing to do. Like, oh, hang on, I'm losing a lot of people here, or whatever. That would be your first point of call. But beyond that, I would look at the ads to lender congruency. That's usually the first point of. That's for any funnel. It doesn't have to be ACA. That could be any funnel. Just making sure that the promise you're making in the ad is actually what's being delivered. Generally speaking, because the clientele for that product is lower socioeconomic, you almost need to bribe them with some sort of offer of some sort. $500, I don't know, gift card.
Well, see, that's the thing. It's nowadays you can't do those. You can use a subsidy angle on some, right? But for the most part, it's there's been some
issues there. Okay.
There's been some issues that's been happening lately here in the U.S. when it comes to ACA, and a couple of the buyers have been included in some lawsuits and stuff like that. So now it's like, okay, you can't be very aggressive. You can maybe mention, oh, there are some subsidies, but it's zero cost.
Yeah, okay. Then I would spend most of my time on coming up with different variations of how do you show perceived value without necessarily going down the sort of incentivization part. Would be the best call. I actually, it's been about 6 months since I looked at this. There was someone that consulted with me for about 4 months. They were trying to get an ACA funnel working. And yeah, I think by the time I finished working with him, he was doing about 50 grand a week. Yeah. So
any idea what his cost?
So unfortunately, I work on so many funnels. I'm really hazy at the moment as to what changes we did or what we didn't do. Yeah, sorry if I'm doing a bit of a blank as to what we specifically did about in that space. But I can have a look at my notes and maybe we can jump on a call next week where I can share some stuff that does not violate any privacy concerns with him. Or I'll reach out to him saying, hey, listen, are you interested in, I don't know, doing something?
Calls. We've got buyers, and so we're looking for calls.
Okay, all right, done. I will reach out to him. Let me just make a note.
You said you were working with him. I mean, do you work with like company helping them build a whole thing?
I do. Not much anymore because I don't get too much time. The reason why I did it with him, it was interesting because firstly, like the guy's like only 19 years old or something. So I was curious to see if this can work with someone who's he knew a lot about media buying, but he was quite raw in everything else, like building the funnel out, all that sort of stuff. So so I was curious to see whether someone could really transition from media buying to really running their own money. And the answer is, yeah, absolutely you can. But he was determined, man, because I remember we used to jump on calls. It was 7 a.m. his time. Like he'd have a big boozy night being a 19-year-old. He'd finish at 4 a.m. and he'd turn up at 7 o'clock, man. Every week. There wasn't a call he missed. So we did 2 calls a week. He turned up for every call. Yeah, he was really determined to make it work, actually. So all kudos to him. I gotta tell you, like it was all him. I mean, I just kind of like, hey, why are you doing this? Go do that. I just spoke, and he did bulk of the work. But where I was able to add a lot of value for him is essentially, in fact, it was on his funnel that I really learned how most tracking for pay-per-call sucks. And how do you do a better version of it? Which is why the document you see inside Leads Hook, which is the server-side version of Ringbar, no, I've never seen anyone set it up like that. It's because I was like, this is crap. We need a server-side solution. So I actually reached out to the guy who owns Ringbar, or the CEO, whatever his name is. I remember having a quick call. I said, hey, can I do this on the server side or no? He goes, you know what? Reach this person in my dev team or whatever. We'll give you the document. So they gave us their internal documents on how it all works. And that's how we built the server-side integration, actually. If you have a look, there's even their own documentations on their website don't have this version of it. And that's why you see server-side inside the Leads Hook docs here, this one here. If I go Ringbar.
Because we had an issue, we run it, and I don't know why the conversion will not track in our Google. We had
Yeah,
a
okay, yeah.
couple
So it's obviously with the setup, but this effectively this is the server side setup of doing it. So we'll just drop it in the chat here in case you haven't had a chance to
More complete
look at it. Yeah.
things,
Yeah. So effectively what I found is and this is a common problem, right, across everybody, is that the technical skills are just not kind of like there to really get this thing working at scale for in a lot of places. There was one guy that I worked with. They'd spent like almost 2-3 grand 2-3 times trying to get the GTM working, all this sort of stuff. And it was in sheer frustration. The guy reached out to me, he said, Nick, I just can't get any of this tracking stuff to work. I've already paid so much money to ABC. Not that I knew who those people were, but I said, well, let me go have a look at. So then I got curious. I was like, well, why is it so hard? Like, why isn't it working? So we jumped on a call, and I quickly went through his funnel, and I said, hey, can you give me like half an hour or so? And literally, it was just fixing up a bunch of basic stuff that has just been missed. There's a lot of people out there who are promoting themselves to be, tracking gurus and stuff, but they're actually not that good. So that's the reason why we came up with the version we came up with. So that where you just download the container and bulk of it is done. Having said that, the pay-per-call side, it does need a bit of manual coding because you're trying to trigger something on a button click, and so that therefore it does require a little bit of coding type stuff. But nevertheless, the directions that I've given on that article there allow you to test it properly, so you know exactly that it's firing or not. So you don't have to go live if it's not working properly. And so just make sure that everything's working as expected, i.e. the tag is firing for your conversions, would be the main thing there. But Jonathan, if you are struggling, if you want me to do a review of your funnels and stuff, feel free to just message the help team, and let's see if we can organize something.
Sure, I will check with Eric which one we want to get you on.
Done. All right, done.
Thank you.
No problem.
Very good session today.
Yep. All right, guys, if there's no more questions, we'll same time, same place next week.
Sounds good.
I missed like a couple sessions. Wanted to know where you were with some of the stuff was supposed to come out, like with updates to the system. Like
no. So there are a few pending updates. I've held them back because we're going to conferences and stuff, and I haven't had time to finally do the review, especially the tracking stuff. I just want to make sure that nothing breaks, because that's going to cause you more pain than not having something we've added in. So give me time till Wednesday of this week. I think I've got it approved. Plus
experiments is broken, I think.
that's my dev checked. I also checked the data. We didn't see any issues as far as the data is concerned. We're just having a look to see if something is wrong with the rotation. So
I've had just like 750 out of 800 impressions are all crawlers.
All crawlers? No, but what's that got to do with the experiments?
That's seems to be off as well, but it's just weird that high of all the total impressions are crawlers. Is that not?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Usually if you look at what the user agent is, you either see them as Facebook and Google. There are times when Google will send you like almost 1,000 visits to your page. Yeah, I've seen that happen. So, but yeah, so just give me time till tomorrow. What I'll do is because I know you have received a note from you on that, I'm going to pull down the data and have a look at the user agent and just confirm for you where that traffic is coming from, just to make sure that nothing's untoward. But otherwise, it's just a URL like any other URL on the internet that you are adding to. Generally speaking, it's either going to be like a Google bot or a Facebook bot, but it's the Google bot that is super aggressive. There was one funnel that I saw. Yeah, they were like, oh, we got 50,000 impressions yesterday, and 5,000 was just Google, and I was like, why is Google visiting your site so much? So either algo issue. I'm not quite. I can't explain why the bot every so often just goes a bit nuts and just visits you forever. So I have seen that, but it's. It happens like a day or so. It happens like for a day or so, and then it drops off.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But I will confirm no, but I will confirm that. Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll dump your data down into a pivot table, and I'll do it by the bot, and I can see, you know, of all the impressions come through, and I'll break it down by hour or something, so we can see, you know, did they only come between the hours of, you know, whatever 8 and 5, and then it dropped off. Yeah,
That makes sense.
Cool.
The other thing you're talking about, the TCPA stuff, I know you're talking about database. How would you enable the language so you can use in your own database longer? I know you said...
Sorry, how do you mean? Can you repeat the question? Give me a bit more context.
Exclusivity stuff. You can only contact them for like 60 days, 90 days.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, so if you don't tell them how long you're going to contact them for, then 90 days is the accepted norm as per the documentation. So, sorry, so for the American audience, this is the Australian rule. I'm not sure if the US has a similar rule. Like, let's say if you don't specify how long you'll contact them for. So let's say, thanks for your details, we'll contact you soon. That gives you like a 90-day window. So it's not like, hey, you can contact me for the next 25 years. But if you state explicitly that you'll contact them, let's say whenever an opportunity arises that would be in their benefit, you could theoretically contact them forever. Whether that's a good idea from a pure response perspective, because obviously, you know, everything is a half-life and responses do drop off the longer you are. But if you were to continue to email them or SMS them and keep them in the loop, then I can't see why you can't keep them forever. But yes, the rule does state, or at least as per the Victorian documents, it does state that where not explicitly stated, it's 90 days. But if you would explicitly state it, then that's no problem. You can effectively say, listen, we may contact you between now and into the future whenever an opportunity arises that is relevant to you, and so on and so forth. And I guess you could word that way. But just get it checked by a lawyer whether that's kosher or not. You know, and hopefully it is. And so because that's obviously this is awfully new stuff in Australia. So do get that checked by a lawyer. But if you can explicitly state the period at which you're going to contact them. So let's say if you think like, hey, listen, you know what? Most of our leads dry up after 18 months. I do want to make it clear that I'm going to contact you 18 months, and just state that you know that we'll be keeping you in our databases for a period of 18 months because many offers around this and for help you with cost of living and yada yada yada. You can always cloak, because the law does not state that you can't flower the language. Right. It just states that you got to be explicit about what the period is. It's like the whole GDPR thing, right? Most people's GDPR statements are like, I hereby give you permission, blah, blah, blah. You can change that to, give you permission because I'm tired of paying high interest rates. Like when you change the language like that, you get a much higher response on your forms as well, because obviously you're aligning their interest with the explicit opt-in.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Now when GDPR came out, I actually read the whole thing, all like 600 pages or whatever. Yeah, it was nasty, and I realized when I read it, I was like, you know what? Yeah, they tell you can do all this A, B, C, D, but they're not prescriptive in what you can say about it. I just got to tell you that you are opting in. It does not state that you must sound like a lawyer. You can change the languaging around that to some extent. So I started playing around with you know, I'm sick and tired of, you know, having you know, Her Majesty, I don't know, take too much tax. It was you know, what's the name? The Queen was around at the time. And that actually, a guy did a split test, and it outperformed the legalese version of it, and so that's what they ran with. But I've never seen anyone even talk about it actually since. All right, guys. Chat next week, same time, same place.